You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the Chris Voss Show.com. Hey, welcome to the big show. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. We're talking to an amazing entrepreneur today and CEO. We're going to be talking about how he built his company and some of the vision he has for it and the impact he's having in the world. But in the meantime, as always, refer to the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Put your arm around them. Send them an email. Say, you need to subscribe to the Chris Voss Show, because the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you but doesn't judge you. At least not as harshly as your mom does. Now go clean your room. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Go see the big 130,000 group on LinkedIn. The LinkedIn newsletter, which we're always punching out on weekdays. That's always fun to read. There's always great profiles of brilliant leaders and, of course, book authors on the show there. Today, we have another amazing CEO on the show. They just keep coming. I don't know where. We just put them in the Google machine and out spits the CEOs from the Google machine. That doesn't sound like a good looks. But this one was not spitted, but he appeared. Let's put it that way. Oh, we just improv the ramble every time. So you just never know what's going to come out. But it's usually funny. And if it's not funny, it's not funny. But then that's sometimes funny. Anyway, Mike Vandemaele, founder and CEO of Pro Services, is on the show with us today. He started his company in 1987. I graduated high school in 1987 in Portage, Michigan. Did I say that right? Is it Portage?
It's Portage, yep.
There you go. Do I have to say it with an accent, a Michigander accent? I don't even know what that would be, but it sounded good. He began his career as a pipe fitter and built the company from the ground up and provides skilled trades and maintenance technician solutions to manufacturing customers across the country. Welcome to the show, Mike. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, Mike, doing great. Can you calm down just a little bit, though? You're bringing too much energy to the show.
Do what?
There you go. It's wonderful to have you all the way from Portage, Michigan. You might be the first guest. You might be the first guest who's called in from there. So there you go. But we're glad to have you on the show. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please, sir.
Prosatwork.com.
Prosatwork.com. And let's talk about you and your company. You've been around for a long time. Like I said, you started the company when I graduated, the year after I graduated high school.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago now. You know.
It feels like a long time ago, believe me.
But it's still very interesting and still love what we do. So
because I'm 100. I don't know about you, but
I feel like something.
I'm going on 55 next year in a few months, so I'm feeling it.
Baby.
Oh, thanks. Well, it's good to know. Does it get better?
It does. It gets better with age, just like wine.
There you go. Well, I hope so. Every time I sneeze, my skeleton falls out of my body, so I have to put it back and all that good stuff. So give us an overview of your company, what you guys do and how you do it, please.
Yeah, the company, I worked as a plumber, pipe fitter, welder went to a UA apprenticeship program to learn that right out of high school, and worked for a few contractors for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just wasn't really loving the way we were working for the clients.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the client wasn't necessarily getting the biggest value for the dollars they were spending, quite simply.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought one day, well, heck, I might as well just go into business for myself.
There you go. There you go. And what does your company do specifically?
The company was founded and started on process piping. So industrial plants like the pulp and paper industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the brewery industry, food and beverage industry. We specialized in process piping for their various processes in their plants.
Awesome.
So anywhere from installation to maintenance or, shutdowns, whatever it took.
And this is sort of blue collar work that's necessary. Like it's never going to get replaced by, computers and Silicon Valley, I suppose.
Yeah, I've got a big vision, but I don't see it ever being replaced by computers or robots.
Yeah. And there's still, we've had a lot of blue collar CEOs on, and it's becoming a really high paid, specialized skill trade where there's fewer and fewer people that are doing it, but it's incredibly valuable. It's not going to go away anytime soon. You have to lay a foundation to this country that's based in blue collar to be able to build white collar on top of it.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the biggest crises I feel like we have in our country today is the shortage of skilled trades and maintenance technicians.
Yeah, and the pay is good too.
Very good.
Yeah, I see people that are like, oh, I don't want to go into blue collar. I'm going to go work at McDonald's. I'm like, have you seen the pay that's over there? Like they get paid really well. And it seems to me like the more people don't realize that, the more, it's a skill that's always going to be, and it's out there. So tell us about your mission, your vision for the company and what you guys are trying to do.
Well, the mission and vision for the company is just to provide the best skilled trades and maintenance technician services we can for the industry.
And do you guys just do the local area? Are you guys nationwide?
Well, we're nationwide on the maintenance technician services. We have maintenance technicians working in 24, 25 different states today.
Oh, nice.
In various industries.
Now, what's the difference between what's skilled maintenance work? Is that for maintaining things? What's the terminology for the foundation there?
My terminology, whether it's correct or not, is I feel like a skilled trades person is an individual that's gone through a very specific trade apprenticeship program and becomes a professional in an individual trade with some knowledge of others. They can build things, they can repair things, they can do high-end maintenance on things. And then the maintenance technician business started about 10 years ago. It seemed like the customers we had were continuously wanting to take some of our skilled trades guys and put them into their maintenance teams. So, I could see the shortage of skilled trades people as it was. And then with the industrial maintenance, people wanted to use our guys in their maintenance team. Number one, it wasn't the best fit for them using an individual skilled trades guy in the maintenance team, and the individual skilled trades guy didn't really want to be in a maintenance team. So it was kind of a Band-Aid. So that's when I started thinking about what's the future look like for what are we going to do for maintenance technicians in the future.
Oh, yeah. Pipe fitters, plumbers, millwrights, ironworkers, lineman service, maintenance, residential and commercial HVAC and plumbing services. I lived in Vegas for 20 plus years. You want to talk about people that make good money, people that work on air conditioners.
Yes. Florida.
Oh, Florida too. Yeah. I guess with the humidity down there. Yeah. I think my doctor was cheaper than my, it seemed like every couple of years we'd blow out an air conditioner, and you have to have, in Vegas, you have like one for every floor.
Yes.
And so, it's always like one or two of them is going to go bad. You just never know which one. And, it's one of those things where it's never one of those things that's going to get replaced by the internet, where you're like, can I just file a ticket on the internet and it'll fix my air conditioning? It'll never happen. You got to have a guy who comes out and works on the unit and all that sort of good stuff. So what do you guys provide? Do you guys provide education, or do you provide jobs where, you help book stuff, or how does it work?
Well, how it works on the maintenance technician side is when we first started offering the maintenance technician service, we were basically looking for individuals working as a maintenance technician that had already had some skill sets. But it, didn't take long. I realized, okay, we're doing the same thing everybody else in the country is doing. And I said to our team, if we're going to be very successful in the maintenance industry, we have to develop and create maintenance technicians, not go find them.
Yeah. And there's probably a lot of entry point in needing to teach people to be professional, to do the job right, and all that good stuff. Because I've had a few friends that have hired people in Vegas that didn't weren't licensed and didn't have the like pay under the table guys, and they were and that didn't work out too well. So I'm like, you want to make sure they're licensed and professional.
You definitely want a licensed professional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, I kind of do a separation of the skilled trades guys go through a very extensive apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, and then they get their journeyman certificate.
Yeah.
But the maintenance industry in our country has always been run a little differently, where they basically hire a guy in as a maintenance person, and he learns from the individual he's working next to. So he's going to learn whatever the person he's working with. And there really has never, in my mind, been a very good education to be a maintenance technician.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of separate the two. There's a place for both of them. So we started our own, what we call Pro University, about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pro University is a maintenance technician school. We screen individuals. We start them in what we call an apprenticeship program to be a maintenance technician, not a skilled trades individual. So he's learning various skills needed to keep machinery running.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reactive repairs, that's basically what we classify a maintenance technician as.
There you go.
So they're taught various skill sets, and it's, instead of a 4 or 5 year program, it's a 2-year program.
Mm-hmm.
We pay our students to go to school instead of them paying to go to school.
That's pretty cool.
We supply them with benefits.
Wow.
They go to school 90 days full time.
Wow. Paid training
for 12 weeks.
That is awesome. I mean, if you've seen what college costs,
yes.
And then the amount of pay that
I have a couple granddaughters going to college, so I know exactly what it costs.
Yeah. And then the pay, like, there's so many people that go to college and they pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they come out and they've earned degrees that qualify for jobs that make them like $30,000 a year.
Exactly.
And you're like, you can't pay
back your student loans.
You can't pay back your student loans. It's crazy. And so people can apply with you guys to do a maintenance apprenticeship, mechanic work, and they get paid training. That's pretty darn good deal.
They get paid to go to school, 40 hours a week, health benefits, and then after 90 days, guaranteed job placement.
Wow.
And
this is the sort of thing where we've had lots of authors on the show that have talked about this and done studies with it. And in Europe, they're much better at their school system, where they kind of find and identify what you're good at early on. And some people are very tactile. They're very kinetic. They're good at working with things. Like if you try and explain something to me, to teach me something, my brain will go, ugh. But if you put it in my hands and I get to play with it and toy with it and really kinetically grasp it, I can do it. If you show me how to do it, I can do it. But if you're trying to explain it to me, I'm just like, ooh. And, many people are just that way. That's the way they are. And they're really good with their hands. Like I see people on like TikTok and stuff that are like just amazing artisans of being able to build or work on stuff, or whatever they do. They're just so damn good at it. And there's people that excel at that in our industries.
There are, and it's like you said. I think one of the a couple things, like a lot of the vocational classes were taken out of our high schools years ago.
Yeah.
You don't hear very many people telling their kids when they graduate high school, well, go into a trade. They tell them to go to college.
And there's some people that's not for it. Like my nephew's that way. He's not into college. He's not into all the book learning, and he's good at being a people person. He's good at selling. And so a lot of people, need to realize that, maybe there's, people can work in the trades. The money's good. Holy crap.
The money's very good. I mean,
it's not going away anytime soon. What about unions? I mean, there's still a lot of unions running around for these sort of industries, right?
A lot of unions. Yeah. All
Yeah.
skilled trades individuals are union.
Mm-hmm.
And the maintenance technicians can be union or non-union depending on the plant and the environment that's currently in the plants.
Yeah. And so what is the number here I've got from you guys? 600,000 industrial maintenance technicians are in the U.S. with the average age 70% over 55. So we need more young people coming into this industry then.
We need a lot more young people coming into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to say to people, where would we be in our country if we don't have industrial manufacturing?
Yeah.
I think we've seen some of that through COVID, that, the supply chain issues that we're all having.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were saying that one of the top jobs that young people want nowadays is TikTok influencer. And last time I checked, that doesn't pay very well. We put videos on TikTok and we're still waiting for our first check.
Yeah.
People need to realize that there's a real future. I mean, my friends that work in the union trades, they get paid when they get laid off. They've got great health benefits. It's a good business. And, it's one of those things where no one can take that skill away from you. You can get fired from your job because you're working as a manager or something. You can go get another job as a manager, but that's pretty high competitive. But, once you have that skill, it can't be taken away from you.
No, it's yours forever.
Yeah. And these machines just get more complicated too. We've had some people that come from, I think it's FabTech, the big convention for Expo.
Yes.
FabTech. They've been on the show. We usually hit the show every year and do interviews. And these guys get paid a ton of money. I mean, even like small robotics and stuff. And it's because it's so specialized. And you like you mentioned, you have to go for years for training and learning the business. It's not something you can just like learn overnight. Like I can figure out some stuff to learn overnight, but this is stuff that you really have to know and understand stuff. And I've been at a loss sometimes with some of the things where I'm like, how come my air conditioner isn't working? The guy takes it apart and explains it to me. And I'm just like, I don't know. This is why I pay you a whole ton of money.
Whole ton of money.
There you go. So paid wages and benefits to go to school, guaranteed job placement after the first 90 days. You guys really have this down to a business. Is it in every state that this is available or in certain states?
The Pro University currently is only in Portage, Michigan.
Okay.
So the first 90 days they have to come here.
Okay.
But then the rest of their curriculum is online.
Okay.
And it is Department of Labor certified. It's, to our knowledge, the only Department of Labor certified maintenance technician program in the country.
That's pretty awesome. And so they can go back to wherever they are in the U.S. to utilize the skills?
Wherever they want to go, we'll place them. We have, like I say, we're working in 24, 26 different states today as technicians.
Now, is there a dormitory where I can party at, like most colleges?
No,
sort of
there's no party.
No partying. Well,
No
that's probably
partying,
better.
serious
Right.
stuff, and we really screen these people looking for the elite.
There you go.
We
There
like
you go.
to consider it like the Blue Angels.
There
We're
you
the
go.
Blue Angels of maintenance.
Well, hence the title of your company, Pro Services, right?
Yes.
I mean, you do want professional people in the business. Like I said, I had some friends that have had homework done that weren't licensed, and I was like, wait, you went and used someone who's licensed, and they probably don't have insurance either.
Probably not.
So, and you're gonna let them work on your home? That's not gonna end. Go, oh, you don't know, Chris. And then later you get a call, and you're just like, yeah, that was a really bad idea, and we have a mess on our hands. We're out a ton of money. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you always hire professionals, especially for the insurance part.
Yes. Well, and that was part of my vision as well. Like they say, sometimes my mission, when people ask me what it is, I'm like, I want to change the way maintenance is performed in America. Because I feel like so many occupations, we have professionals. We go to an oral surgeon, we go to a heart surgeon.
Yeah.
A nurse has to go to school for how many years and get a certificate to be a nurse bedside. A dental hygienist. And sometimes in some of the conversations with CEOs or plant managers, I'm like, well, when we're talking about their maintenance issues and their downtimes trending the wrong way, I'm like, well, who do you or your wife go to get your haircut? Like, what's that got to do with the maintenance issues in my plant? And I'm like, well, the person you and your wife are probably going to get your haircuts at least gone through some kind of an educational class, got a certificate to say they can do that. But yet you'll hire an individual off the street, put them out in your plant to work on a multi-million-dollar asset, and just expect them to keep that machine running at the maximum amount of time. There's something wrong with that equation in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, you if you got to go to the doctor, you can go to the alleyway doctor. I mean, you can if you want, but your appendix probably is not going to end up, whatever, taken out, right? Yeah. I wouldn't advise it. No. Bringing
professionalism to that occupation is my mission and goal.
And this is a business that will just, as businesses grow, I mean, you've got manufacturing lines that need to be maintained, all sorts of different things to build stuff, manufacture, whether it's, everybody needs this stuff. When the heating and air plumbing goes out, or the plumbing goes out, or you need to build stuff to make stuff, this is the ground floor of what needs to be done. And it's not going away anytime soon, No. It's not a sort of thing, and it's very skilled. And it's interesting to me that more people don't want to get into it because it's a great college alternative. The entry point is much lower cost wise than going to college.
Yes.
And it sounds like too, you can get your feet on the ground sooner than going to college for 4 years. You can get your feet on the ground, start earning money quicker.
Yeah, that's the intent of our entire program, is to make these individuals, they're drinking through a 4-inch fire hose in that first 90 days to learn as much as they can. So immediately day one, when they're in a plant working in a maintenance team, they're making some kind of an impact day one.
There you go. What else have we touched on that you guys do with your company?
Well, we do a lot of big installations as well with the skilled trades people. We have specialized in the pulp and paper industry, the corrugated industry, and brewery industry for the past 20, 30 years. So we do a lot of major projects as well.
And just basically helping people get good at this stuff. And what is there an ongoing relationship people have with you after you place them at jobs? Do they have any ongoing training, or can they keep coming back to you for job placement?
Well, there's ongoing training, but I kind of like to phrase it as working as a maintenance technician in the industry for an end user. You have a job. That is your job. That's where your job's going to be. The education's not great. You got to learn a lot on their own. But I like to say, going to work for a professional organization, that's the service they provide, it becomes a career for them. They can go through the curriculum and become a Tech 1. They can advance to a Tech 2 with further education. They can go to a Tech 3. They can go into maintenance management, maintenance planning. They have a career, it's what they want to do. And on top of that, working for us in maintenance, if your wife gets a promotion, but it's 3 states over or clear across the country, no big problem, no big deal. We'll find you a job where your wife's being relocated.
That makes sense. You can use this anywhere in America.
Anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, or in the world, probably.
In the world.
It comes down to it. Yeah, that definitely makes it easier. I mean, having a trade where you can work anywhere in the world. In my business, I can work anywhere in the world as long as I got some Wi-Fi every now and then. It makes all the difference in the world. You're not locked down to anything. You can travel. You can do stuff. It makes all the difference in the world. So you've built this company and it's been around for how many years are we at now? If you started in 87,
I think 35.
35 years. What are some of the things that you've attributed to the success of building a company that's lasted that long?
I think it's pretty simple. Do what you say you're going to do. Do the right thing always. deliver value. I always tell my people, we have to provide a value beyond the service of what we're doing. Because anybody can provide the service, like you said. There's a zillion people out there. Some may be licensed, some maybe not. But make sure we're delivering a value. It's like the most value we can give them for their dollar versus the littlest value we can give them for the dollar. Is what our goal is.
And contributing is a big deal to you too, as well.
Yeah, we consider ourselves a team member when we go to work, whether we're skilled trades or maintenance technicians. We're part of that team. We're part of an extension of that organization's team to maximize the output of the manufacturing process.
And that's one of the greatest things about being an entrepreneur, is reaching that point where you can give back to your community and you can be a leader in your community and make your community a better place. I mean, it's just more rewarding.
It is.
Yeah. And it's one of the things I always got off on as being an entrepreneur, where giving back, whether we gave back to a local hospital for abused child victims, or, just supporting the local community and helping out. It's one of the beauties of starting a company and making an impact and changing the world. And I'm sure you've probably impacted a lot of lives over all these years.
We have. It's very. I enjoy the stories from people that come back and say, you really changed my life. I was working. I had one guy come to me. He's like, he was working in a bowling alley. And I looked at his resume, and he wanted to go through the Pro U. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, works in a bowling alley. Well, what's he doing in the bowling alley? Well, he's the guy responsible for the pin setting machines. Every time they break down, make sure they're all operating.
Oh, yeah.
So he's working in a bowling alley making $12 an hour.
Wow.
Today, that individual's working in the industry as a high Tech 3 maintenance technician, making $45 an hour. So whenever I see him, he's like, you changed my life, my family's life.
All right, guys, I'm quitting this podcast business.
We have several
$45 an hour.
We have several success stories like that, where taking individuals, evaluate their skill set, improve their skill sets, and or develop them from just green.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy. It's such a good business. Like I said, we have the Fab Tech people on, and we'll talk to welders and all sorts of people.
I think that show's going on in Atlanta right now, isn't it?
Yeah. And they'll talk about the money they're making, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, you might get a little dirty in the day, but you can go home and shower, and the power that you have of what you do and the earning power, and it's something you could never be taken from you. And my understanding is Winston Churchill inspired you. Do you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've been inspired by several people. Just people that have made a difference in the world.
I'm a big Winston Churchill fan. Never give up. Never surrender.
Never give up. Do the right.
Go on to the seas and oceans. We shall defend our armies wherever the course.
Work hard and dream big is always my advice to people.
Work hard. That's something that.
Work smart.
Work hard, work smart. That's something that a lot of people don't realize anymore. They're just like, there's this new sort of phenomenon in the employment industry called quiet quitting, where these people aren't happy with what they're doing, and they're doing a thing called quiet quitting. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, they just don't show up.
They show up, but they don't show up, right?
Right.
They're there, but they're just kind of zombie. Like, I'm just sitting here at my desk. It's kind of like that one show. What was that one movie, Office Space? That was kind of a comedic take on things. But it speaks to me with the quiet quitting phenomenon that people need to find what they love, and I always tell people that. I mean, even in companies that I started and invested at an early age and we had for 10, 15 years, I never loved them. I love the money from them, but I never loved them. I was an entrepreneur that unfortunately never got into much of anything he loves. About the only thing I've found that I love passionately that I will do and I love sitting front row on is my podcast. And that's about it. About everything I've ever owned, and I've made millions of companies. I still didn't love them. I go to work and go, I hate this shit. I hate this company. I hate what it does. I hate working for it every day. The only reason I'm here is to kick ass as a CEO and be innovative, make money.
Yeah.
And so these people need to realize that, you can make a lot of money and still be very unhappy. And I might have quit a few of them, actually. I don't know. I think I wasn't allowed to, as CEO, but I felt like I wanted to. And so people need to find something they love, something they're passionate about. And I've known a lot of people that have gone into white collar business and they haven't loved it. And they've gone into craftsman trades or some sort of kinetic trade with their hands. And they're just brilliant at it.
Yeah.
One of my friends was a comedian who did stand-up comedy, and he's now making these opal jewelries, and he's kicking butt at it. And he does like there's all the stuff you got to do, like soldering, but he loves it and he's good at it. And I'm like, you went from comedy to working with your hands? Like, holy crap. And so a lot of these quiet quitting people, they really need to just go find what their passion is, what they love. And it may not be working with your mind. It may be working with your hands and your mind.
Yeah. You can work with both. Yeah. But no, I feel fortunate. I still love what we do. I love what we deliver to our customers and helping them be better at what they do.
Sounds like it makes all the difference. Loving what you do. And you've been doing it for as long as you have.
Yeah, I plan on at least another 10 years. So.
There you go. I'm going to be doing what Warren Buffett says. I'll retire 7 years after I die. So I'll just be on the podcast as a zombie. They'll just prop me up like what was that Weekend at Bernie's movie? Yeah. And they'll just put me on the show and probably inject me with a whole ton of coffee and kickstart me. That's pretty much what they do every morning over here at the show anyway. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on, Mike. Anything we want to touch on or tease out before we go?
No, it's just like I say, my passion is to change the way maintenance is performed in America. I want to bring professionalism to the maintenance occupation because I really believe with the professional skilled trades individuals and a professional maintenance technician, we can really make a major difference in this country.
And it sounds like good advice too for parents who are looking at their school kids. I mean, certainly if I was a parent looking at a college bill, I'd be like, well, let's figure out what this kid's good at.
Yeah, before we spend all that money.
Before you spend all that money.
It's the money, it's the time.
It takes a lot of time, and then paying back these loans. I mean, I know people that are close to my age, about 50. They'll announce on Facebook. They're like, I just paid off my student loan. I'm like, oh my God, you're my age. And we did mortgages for 20 years with one of my companies, and I would see people that would come in that would be doctors, and they're getting paid like $250, $400 a year, but they're paying like $100 a year in their school loans.
Yes.
And by the time I would balance out all their debts and stuff, they would be almost minimum wage.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, holy crap, you're a doctor. I know lawyers that are up to their neck in debt. And you're like, your quality of life for the next 10 years, isn't that great? Even though you're a doctor or a lawyer, because you're servicing these loans. And then, a lot of people don't end up happy in whatever they're doing. So
it was a good point you brought up. You got to do something you love doing.
You do. It makes all the difference when you show up for work. I get to sit front row with some of those brilliant minds, the coolest people like yourself. We have the greatest journalists on the show. We have people that, spend 10,000 hours, or you've spent hundreds of thousands of hours lifetime. But people have spent so much time on the show, and I get to sit front row with them. A lot of them are people we see on TV, and they just get like a 3-minute blurb on TV, and I get to ask the great questions that I'm like, well, I didn't get any of my questions answered there. I get to do it. And I just love it. It's like a front row seat to learning. I probably have a better college education doing this than I do anything else. And so doing something you love makes all the difference. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm going to go to work today. You're not just like, oh God, this thing again. And I've been there, and I've owned the company. Yeah. I'm the boss, and I'm just like, oh, this thing again. I don't want to do this. I hate this. I love being a CEO. I love being the guy who kicks ass and innovates and the guy who makes things work. But other than that, there were some things that I'm just like, I really hate this industry. Like, I really don't. Sometimes I'd be like, yeah, vice president, you babysit that thing every day. I don't want to deal with that thing. Anyway,
in college is great, but I really believe there's a lot of individuals that go to college that really don't want to go to college.
There are, people just go, well, what do you do now? Oh, go to college. I don't know. My dad said, go to college. It's a line from Fight Club. Find what you love, find what you're passionate about, make a difference, explore some things too. Try some different things on in life. So I tell young people, especially with like internships and stuff, try some things in life. See what kind of fits you. Because the worst thing you can do is go 20 years just miserable. And then you wake up one day at 40 and go, I really hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. This is a bad choice. Pick your game early and get it on. So, well, thank you very much, Mike, for being on the show. Very insightful and very inspiring work as an entrepreneur. I've done like 27 different corporations. You've done one. I clearly messed up somewhere in what I was doing.
Well, my intentions were to go into the apprenticeship at 17 years old after high school and get my journeyman card. Then my intention was to go to school to become an attorney. I just loved what we were doing.
There you go. Yeah, now you charge attorneys a whole lot of money to fix their plumbing and their HVAC.
Yeah, our rates are getting just as high as theirs.
There you go. Well, great story to have you on, man. Give me your .com so people can find you on the interwebs one more time.
Prosatwork.com.
There you go. Guys, be sure to check him out. You can find him on the website. I highly recommend, like I say, you've seen our Fab Tech shows and some of the blue collar. We've had plenty of blue collar folks that are making a lot of money in blue collar work. It's sad that in this country we've kind of had this sort of attitude where, in China they have people that want to be astronauts and engineers still, and that's what made this country great was engineers. And now we have less engineers than any other country in the world, and they actually come here and they learn to be engineers and they go to their countries and do the thing. We need to have more skilled workers to build the foundation of this country that helps make it great. And it makes all the difference in the world. So if you're a parent out there, check it out. If you're looking for a job or trying to find your place in the world, don't quiet quit. Go find something you love. And believe me, it make all the difference in the world. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. Go to all of our LinkedIn properties. Lots of stuff going on there. All the Facebook groups you can find on Facebook as well. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. That should have us out, Mike.